Hi, it's me, Wonder Snatch,
Valentina.
and today I'm doing Valentina from Season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Okay, the Latina Excellence Queen with a pink vanilla fantasy. Alright, so let's give this a go, and I think I'm going to talk about toxic fandom in RuPaul's Drag Race as well, because Valentina probably has the most toxic fans of all the Drag Race girls. Okay, so don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell for post notifications, okay? See you! Okay, got my brows and
everyone,
shaved off and my face
let's
tapes
get
are on.
started.
I seem to scratch my nose in my sleep last night. Does anyone else get that? Okay, I'm going to be following along with Valentina's makeup tutorial after All Stars 4. And you can tell from this makeup tutorial, she's really come into her own. She's got this like almost a delusional kind of thing going. Okay, so I think it's quite fun. But it's also very detailed and she's already got like amazing bone structure and looks beautiful. So let's just try to see whether I can do this.
And I tend to like to make sure that my moisturizer is really warmed up into my hands, and I like to pat
moisturize
into my
prime,
skin.
so it's using some TATCHA.
I like to get my ears, because I paint my ears, my forehead, my nose really well. I go in on my light concealer, my highlighting, and I start by doing 2 triangles in this area.
And then she goes into the highlight. She draws the big triangles. So I've got Kimchi, the most concealer, and Ivory.
I do a bit down my nose. I get this brush and I actually like to start distributing all that product.
And then she goes in with a cream foundation.
Coverage, cream foundation, and I'm going to be...
And I'm going to use a little bit of the DERMABLEND just to go over the eyebrows.
And I like to start here on the bottom half of my jawline because that is the biggest.
So Valentina, she was on Season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. She was a Latina queen. I think from the promo images itself, she was one of my favorites already. Not only because she was very beautiful, but I was just mesmerized by her eyebrows. I remember she had those lines on her eyebrows and I really thought that was really, really cool. My 2 favorites during the promo were Valentina and Sasha Velour because of their eyebrows, I think. I was just really attracted to weird eyebrows because everyone was having an ombre eye at the time. So I really gravitated towards those 2. And from the first few episodes, she was obviously a very, very talented, beautiful queen. She had really, really cool looks and she always tried to promote Latina excellence. Okay, she had this Mexican look. Even her wedding look was very Latina inspired. And she's always referencing telenovelas. So now she contours. She contours much higher, so I think I'm going to take my contour a little higher today. So to go a little darker, I'm using my JUVIA'S Place contour stick in Guinea. This is actually much more angled than I usually do.
What that does is it starts angling and pulling your face up and outward.
Very, very detailed in her work.
And it's going to start giving you more of like a snatched look. And I start blending from this part up.
Blends from the bottom. I usually blend from the top.
I really work this part here. I blend it into my apple of my cheek. From there, I contour my jawline as well. I'm gonna go that way, like so. Hey.
This is hey.
Up and go that way. Hey.
Brings this down to the neck.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to set my makeup. I start in the center of my forehead.
And she powders
like
already.
So.
She starts at the center of the face and so will I. So usually I will do super white first. Okay. So center of the face and working outwards.
Blending it in and all that beautiful work.
Okay, and for the rest, I will go in with Kimchi Puff Puff Pass. This has become one of my favorite translucent powders. Try using a brush and then you can tap some off, okay, and then you can set the powder and blend it into the white at the same time. You don't waste as much this way as well. I used to just dip the whole thing into the powder. This way of setting is
blending that into
gentle, like that. A little bit more blended too. And when
I'm gonna go in on my contouring.
And when Valentina went on Drag Race, she claimed that she only had 10 months of experience, and that was, everyone was saying she was lying, but you know, I think she clarified in interviews later on. She already was practicing in her room to make sure when she made her debut, she was like this perfect drag queen. And she had already won the Boulez Brother Dragula before she went on Drag Race. So she was obviously very, very talented already. Okay, so now she already goes into the contour. She uses a lot of warm colors, so I'm going to do the same with my Morphe and Trailblazer. This is a very warm bronzer. I'm not going to use too much. I'm just going to tap off the excess also. I want to make this as soft as possible.
So these are my little tricks that I like to do.
On her season of Drag Race, Valentina already had quite a lot of iconic looks and a lot of iconic moments. I mean, obviously she had that very iconic moment with Aja. I'm just using the side of the brush.
In the cheekbone right here and this part right here, because
when Aja was jealous that Valentina was getting so much praise from the judges for what she thought was not great drag, she was very threatened, and of course she went into that whole "you're perfect, you're beautiful" spiel, and that was quite an iconic moment in Drag Race. She darkens up that warmth a little bit, yeah, and I'll use my NW45 for that, using a smaller brush. Side, just a little. I'm going to try to be as precious with my makeup as Valentina is. And of course she's making all these sounds, so I have to do that too. She does it.
And I'm gonna go. Now we want to go into highlighting. I'm gonna use another full coverage foundation.
She's nuts. I love it. Now she highlights. So she uses a full coverage foundation and sets the center of the face. I will do the same with my NW18. Okay, so this is a bit of a bone white. Brushing off that white that I put down earlier and blending that into the rest of the face.
We're gonna go. We bringing it all up in there.
Girl.
And you see that, girl? Like,
girl,
damn.
we're
gonna do another highlight. I like to tend to use an absolute white. White. It's gonna give it that cartoon.
Do I look like Valentina yet? And the absolute white right in the center of the face, and of course we're gonna be using sugar.
But I'm gonna move on to my nose. You're gonna start mapping
Maps out
out
the nose
your
with
dots.
some white cream foundation. Very, very precise she's doing, like 3 dots. So using my MEHRON in white.
And then you see those 3 dots? You're gonna connect the dots
in the middle.
Okay, la 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 la. And then you're just gonna move up. And once I've done that, I like to get that and I just go. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna contour my nose.
Her nose. So usually you know how I fill my nostrils. She does a bit more of a subtle one, so let's try her version today. Okay, so using my ABH, I'm going to use this darkest shade here, contour my nostrils to the tip of the nose. She says she gets this from Raven. Raven has very much set the standards of what drag makeup should be ever since she was on the season in season 2.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, bitch. I got this from Raven, okay?
And then she starts contouring her nose with the same. Okay, and she sharpens it down the middle. I'm going to do that a little bit off camera because I don't think I can talk while I do it.
My nose right here. And then I like to really darken the tip of my nose. See that? And you see that? And I go here. Hey.
She goes in the eyes now. Okay, so this is the hard part.
I like to
Hope I can do
create
her eyebrows
a
justice.
shield of powder underneath my eye like this.
With some translucent powder there just to catch the fallout. Okay, she uses a marker to draw her brows. Okay, I think, just to be safe, I will be using my Makeup Forever artist pencil. Okay, so she starts here.
Line.
Okay, so at the top of my regular brows.
Up here.
Where the hairs stop.
To do my arch. And I kind of follow my brow bone and, you know, angle and align that way. What this is basic.
It's hard because my brow bone is really prominent, so it's hard to draw a straight line. It's going all the way. But let's just put on those face tapes first so I know where I'm going. Angles down.
Angle out the end of my eyebrow. So now I'm gonna do the top line. I'm now gonna fill in and then I go into setting the eyebrow. I'm gonna be using
she sets that
a warm tone.
This is a warm tone. Let's just use my bronzer shade again. Just to set that.
With my powder to kind of just give it that like lighter ombre.
So Valentina's iconic moments did not end there. I mean, of course, she had the most iconic exit for season 9 when she lip-synced against Nina Bonina Brown and to Ariana Grande's Greedy and refused to take off her mask because she didn't know the words. That was shocking. It was sent ripples throughout the fandom for weeks. So she was sent home. She was really poised to win. Even RuPaul said that she thought she could go all the way, and RuPaul was obviously so disappointed in her that episode. And that's why Valentina went back to All Stars to redeem herself for that. I'm just going to try to ombre that a little bit.
And I just start to draw my little lines on.
At the same time, I'm just trying to blend away the pencil marks. And I'm using this yellowish highlight color in the ABH. She does her little lines. She does it with an eyeliner. Okay, this is going to be difficult.
they're thicker, sometimes they're really thin.
Trying to figure out my angles. Want to get this right. These have to be super even. Okay, so I'm using my tattoo liner, KVD tattoo liner in warm brown.
I'm going to move on to concealing underneath my brows. Shape the bottom half of my brow.
They're really even and they kind of like go angled. Start angling out.
It's kind of getting rid of all the boo-boos. I like this color because it's lighter than my skin tone, but it's not like a bright white, you know? I set all of that with a bone color or creamy beige.
Whew. And now she cleans up with concealer underneath. Whew. Okay, never held my breath for so long. Let's go into the concealer. I'm gonna use my kimchi white. Sugar pill taco. Set and to make it really, really nice and light. Really love this stuff. Okay, do I look like
What's really
Valentina
nice
yet?
about this marker pen that I use on my eyebrow is I also use it to cut my crease
Vanilla Fantasy
for my eye.
Alright, now that those brows are done, let's go into the eyes. She sketches them out too. I will use my pencil to sketch those out too. Just so precise. Okay, so
It's very cartoony, the style that I do makeup, but I kind of
eyes are
create
much
these
deeper than
lines
hers. Let's start with
to
these
kind of
down.
blend into my nose contour.
Goes up.
We're gonna go in with eyeshadow now. Warm, brownish, pinkish, peachy family.
Okay, since she's going in with these peaches, pinks and everything, I'm going to be using my new NikkieTutorials Beauty Bay palette. Okay, and I think there are some nice shades in here that I can use. I can use these warm shades for the top, the green and the blues for the bottom. But I think I'll start off with the color Mila first, okay, which is a kind of a brownie transition shade. Buff that into that crease that I just drew. After she was eliminated from Drag Race Season 9, she had a lot of fans. Okay, Valentina fans are very, very passionate and very, very vocal, and they would attack all the other queens that kind of like cross Valentina. So Nina Benita Brown got a lot of hate and a lot of death threats when after that lip sync, and that was very, very unfortunate. It was really the time when there were a lot of discussions about how toxic the fandom of RuPaul's Drag Race has become. Okay, all the white, pretty, thin queens get all these fans that keep sending hate and death threats to all the black queens or plus-size queens or people who do not fit the standard idea of what beauty is. First, I'm going to go Zoma, okay, which is a peachy transition shade. Blend that out. When the Season 9 queen started performing, there was a rumor that Valentina was a real diva. She was always late for her bookings, and she always demanded red M&Ms and a bottle of champagne at every booking. So people really tore her down for that. But you know, in the end, apparently that was just a rumor. She wasn't the one who was asking for red M&Ms. Apparently it was another queen. I won't say who it was, but because it's unsubstantiated. Yeah, but she kind of leaned into this diva thing. She didn't really address her fans, and she kind of let her fans run amok during the reunion when she said to send roses to her haters. There was this whole thing where they were sending all these like rose emojis and flooding people's comments with rose emojis, and it was a little bit threatening at the time too. Now go back in with Mila. And she pissed off the other queens so much that during the reunion, she was voted Miss Congeniality by the fans. At the time, fans still voted for Miss Congeniality, but of course Aja wasn't having that and said that she wasn't congenial at all, and they had to rename the prize Fan Favorite. And ever since then, they've stopped accepting fan votes for Miss Congeniality. They get the queens to vote instead. So there's a Valentina crease.
I like to use that as a transition color into the brow bone.
Drag it out.
And I dust it really nicely, really
Transitions
lightly.
into brow bone.
Boop-a-doo.
We're using Basic Truth for that.
Oh my god!
Basic Truth is Dutch for basic bitch. Oh, and speaking of Dutch, Drag Race Holland is starting soon. The queens there look sickening.
You're gonna cut your crease.
Blend it
We're
into
going
the
back to
white.
cream again. I'm gonna get it in a lighter color.
I'm going
this
to cut the
color.
crease off camera and I'll be right back. So I've cut the crease, set it with white, and put some diamond dust, STILA diamond dust on there. And now she's doing her eyeliner. Okay, so she starts off with some black right on the lid.
From all that makeup
Smart
and all
Jacob
those layers
black
of things, that I want this part to really be really dark.
Liner. She does a nice
see my natural folds of my eye, and I go from this part and I kind of just like line it out and marry it into that line. And I do that over here as well. You see where this meets right here? So I start from my inner corner here, and I kind of just like paint and let the brush dictate where to go, with just kind of like drawing into the fold of my crease. And what I'm doing here is I am angling everything to meet.
If I do this justice, I mean, can just imagine the amount of hate I'll get if I don't do Valentina's makeup justice. So Valentina was, she went a bit quiet after season 9. I think she was reflecting on her fans, and she was really developing her craft. She's traveling the world, worked the world, and then she went on to All Stars 4.
And then we're gonna get really refined with the prisoners.
And by then she was fully realized, and she leaned into her delusional personality, which endeared her a little bit more to the audience, because there was this Alyssa Edwards kind of quality to her. We'll set it all with black. And I'm using the black onyx from Kimchi's palette.
I just set it with a nice good eyeshadow.
Do I look like Valentina yet?
Black eyeshadow.
I'm just gonna keep asking.
Applying
White eyeliner.
my creamy eyeliner into my waterline.
Okay, and she's got this green pen. I just got this green pen from HAUS Labs.
Color the bottom lash line, and I go in with this darker color, and I start giving it some depth.
Okay, and then she blends it out. Okay, I'll be using Ew from NikkieTutorials, and she has this ballerina line that shoots out there. Open up the
To make
eye.
my ballerina lines on the bottom, shoots outward on the outer corner.
Around All Stars 4 is also when Valentina was cast in Rent Live. So she played Angel Dumont Chenard. But unfortunately, there was a hiccup that the Rent Live couldn't go live, and they had to play the rehearsal footage. So they had to use her rehearsal vocals, which she said that she was actually marking. So that was disappointing for her, but I think she learned to accept it. So she didn't sound great on the show itself, but that was something that I think could not be helped.
I am now gonna get my other ballerina line.
Wings it out with a blue. Okay, and then she does a white liner there and into the inner corner. This Morphe white liner, blank slate.
Now I've done my outer lines, and then I do the inner corner as well. So what I do with this is I truss the lines of my black eyeliner.
Pops in her
Disinfect my
lenses.
hand.
Grey
Do you
lenses.
see how much bigger that is? And the reason I like gray is
Okay, I
because
will do that off camera. I'll be right back. Alright, lenses are in. She's got grey ones, but I've got these circle brown ones, so they'll have to do. Okay, and then she draws on her lower lashes before putting on individual lashes. So I'm just going to use my Morphe eyeliner. She's got one that goes up that way.
So what I do is I get that marker pen and I start to draw them. Very a la Twiggy, drawn on fantasy.
Okay, she sticks in some gems. Okay, gems and
So I
lashes.
have these little diamonds. I start placing a dot of lash glue where I'm gonna apply. I might as well work on my blusher.
Blusher, as she calls
in
it.
the UK they call it blusher. And I'm gonna go in with this little color right here. You see that? Salmon,
Okay, I'm going to
pink,
use my
peach.
fairy blush.
Today
this
we're
peach
going with the peach story,
blush.
okay?
That's what she does.
By adding a little bit of illuminator on my
that with,
apple of my cheek.
Face Studio Master Holographic Highlighter. This is the one I got from the drugstore. Oops, wrong brush.
You gotta make that face. I get a little paint pigment. I go.
Okay, now she's done.
You're pretty much
doing her
set,
lips.
but I'm gonna finish up
She's
with
going
my
in
lip.
with a peachy look with the lips. I'm gonna go in with my Peachy Keen, this very light lip pencil from Gerard Cosmetics. Okay, and she has an accentuated Cupid's bow. So she tapers it down. Side.
And then at this point, I start to build up.
Yeah, and then she says she draws a half moon.
And I'm kind of blending a little moon
Does it
shape
look like
down.
Valentina yet?
So I use a liquid lipstick to fill in this very center.
Okay, and let's go in with this Peachy Keen, Kimchi. I think it's quite full coverage gloss.
Like so,
With two
60s
light
peachy.
It's darkened it
Right.
with nude, Gerard Cosmetics.
Perfect. And I'm gonna start.
Okay, I'm going to draw on a little bit of a smile because she has a little bit of an upturn.
I kind of just end things up with some gloss. And I just get
Okay.
the center of the lip.
almost there.
I always do this.
Go back into my NikkieTutorials palette. The same colors I use for my crease. I'm just going to deepen up.
So now we're all complete. We're all done with our beautiful, beautiful makeup look.
Do I look like Valentina yet? I think I'm going to just finish this up, throw on a lash, and I'll be back with a finished look. Hi, it's me, Valentina. This is Valentina's Love the Skin You're In runway from All Stars 4. The easiest runway that I could replicate. So how did I do? Does it look like Valentina? I must agree that with all this makeup, I do look a bit like Monique Heart. Congrats Valentina for an amazing career. I'm sure she's got tons of things in the works. And maybe you should come into All Stars again because she's such a huge fan favorite. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell for post notifications, okay? Tell me which other Ru girl you want me to try to pay a tribute to, and I'll see whether I can try to look a bit like them. Alright? Okay, so I'll see you next time. Bye! Watch my other Season 9 queens. I did Sasha Velour and Shea Coulee.